You're listening to Great Greys on Tab Radio.
Good morning and welcome along to Great Greys on this Thursday, the 15th of August 2024. David Shortte with you. Hope you're travelling well on what's a wet day here in Perth. Let's rip straight into it. Catch up with our man, the Shane Train Williams. He'll be having a look at a local chasing over the next few nights. Good morning to you, Train.
Good morning, Shorty. How are you, mate?
Going really well, thank you. Nice to have your company. It's been busy time in greyhound racing. Lots going on. Before we get into the activity for this upcoming weekend, we'll just quickly go back to last week. And, of course, we've been left with a really exciting proposition from a WA perspective with two runners in the National Sprint Final. All honours with Miss Envy, though, in the WA Sprint there last week from box 6. Firelighter pinged out from box number 5. Miss Envy and Barbecue Man were able to get over with the trail and sit second and third. And Miss Envy down the back when Firelighter jumped off the rail and got a little wide. Miss Envy just ducked under and said, thank you very much. And off she went. And the time was electric as well there. Firelighter did well to run second. Barbecue Man back in third. While in the distance final, it was Weston Booney who was able to get the job done from box 8 for Chris House. Sky Manelli was charging home late into second. Sage Stanil right there was in front a long way, running third. 90 Mile Rose finished in fourth. But well done to Chris House. He'll be off to represent WA with Weston Booney in the distance. The Crystal Shinners and connections with Miss Envy in the sprint. And, of course, our wild card entry in Uncle Tommy, who, with his two Group 1s, was the number 1 seed there. And WA with a couple of bullets to fire in that national sprint.
Yeah, absolutely, Shorty. Miss Envy was brilliant last week, offsetting that poor draw. So obviously, we weren't the only ones that were worried about her chances, Shorty. I think she started around about the $8 mark. And, you know, for a dog that's gone 29-0, something, hitting all them a couple of times now, that's a big price for a young dog. But Uncle Tommy as well, Shorty, he'll get his chance over in Adelaide. He's got that really good early speed. And just looking at all the finalists in both the sprint and the distance, there's no real standout, is there, Shorty? There's a couple of real good dogs in there, but there's no standout. So I think box draws are going to come down to it. I think, you know, if we can draw a couple of good boxes in the sprint, will be definitely a chance. And in the staying race, it's Booney sort of wants to get wide, and he'll probably be suited by a wide draw in that final. And again, in that stayers final, Shorty, it's wide open again. And the Tasmanian dog was very impressive, and it's going to be wide open. I don't think there's going to be a short price favourite, that's for sure. I think, you know, we could be looking at $3 a field for both them finals.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll have a chat to Sean Matheson later on this morning here on Great Greys. Of course, his club there across in South Australia will be hosting the National Sprint and Distance Championship Finals. So I'm looking forward to having a chat to Sean and seeing how everything's going in the build-up to what's going to be a big week across there in South Australia. But good luck to the West Aussies. And well done. I think the Northern track has held up pretty well to this point. I was out there yesterday at Cannington shooting Greyhound Gold with Hayden King yesterday, and the track redevelopments are coming along relatively well, although I think this little spell of wet weather has potentially put them back just a small amount of time. So to this point in time, though, Mandurah and Northam holding up really well.
Yeah, 100%. I think Northam's a really good track, Shorty, and like we've discussed on this program before, it's horses for courses, I think, up there. The more starts you have up there, the better you get. Just for an example, I have a dog called Lochinvar Hawk, and I think, you know, he was running about the 30 and 10, 30 and 20 mark, and then by the time he had his fifth start up there, Short, he got down to 29.44. So the more times you go up there, I think the better chance you have. And, yeah, I think Mandurah's holding up really well as well. Just them bend starts, Shorty, I'm looking forward to myself as a trainer getting back to Kennington, just getting away from them bend starts over that 488. But, like, all in all, we've had to deal with it, and I think they're both holding up really well, both the tracks.
Most definitely. All right, we'll look forward to having a look at the national sprint and distance, but for now, the local tracks are doing their job. Let's get into this program today at Northam Train. We've got a 12-race card with the first getting underway here locally tonight in the afternoon rain, so different to last week's start time. Bear that in mind if you're looking to have a bet at Northam today. The first race at 4:55. And the last on a 12-race program this evening there will be taking place at 8:30, bang on. So looking forward to the 12-race card. Who have you come up with for the punters to have a punt with tonight there at Northam?
Yeah, well, speaking of the National, Shorty, my first tip's going to come out of that distance final last week, race 4, number 1, 90 Mile Rose. She was really good last week. She led and then got crossed by Stage to Nil, and that sort of cost her a chance. She battled on really well, but I think the difference in this race is, Shorty, she's just going to get a soft lead. I think Penny Magic out in 7 is probably the only other real speed in the race, and 90 Mile Rose has held her pretty easily the last couple of times they've met each other in races up there, Shorty. So she has run a 42.68 there, and like I said, that is the key to her winning chances, is getting the soft lead here. And once she finds the lead, she's awfully hard to beat, this little girl. And Sky Manelli was huge in that final as well last week, Shorty, but just from box 8, I think might get too far out of its ground. And she's a dog that will not leave the rail. So if there's Penny Magic in running second and holding that rail, might just block Sky Manelli from getting through. So pretty keen race 4, number 1, 90 Mile Rose to kick us off, Shorty.
One for the Chili Man to kick things off. Race 4, number 1, 90 Mile Rose. The second of your plays?
Yeah, I'm going to go to race 6, number 4, Wise Kunak. Dog trained by Michael and Tracy Hine up at Bakers Hill, who really school their dogs around Mandurah. So going back to what we just talked about, having that local knowledge up there, Shorty, this dog had been racing over 500 and he dropped back to the 300-metre trip last week and was a really nice second. I just think another week, freshen up back to the 300 again, which is what he raced in last week. Got that really good early speed, and over the 300-metre trip, that's what you want to be out in front, Shorty. So it's a very winnable race, and we just got to get him to get the start right, and then he should be a very good viewing race, Shorty. Race 6, number 4, Wise Kunak.
All right, the crustacean in race 6, number 4, Wise Kunak, and the third of your plays?
Well, I'm putting my faith in Michael Hine again, which is not necessarily a good thing sometimes, Shorty, our old mate Michael Hine. But race 10, number 8, Wise Cousin Glenn. He's recently taken back over the training of this dog and really turned the dog around. He won first up for Michael from box 6, going back a few weeks ago, and then last start he all but led and just couldn't cross. And I think tonight he looks like he's in a race where he can find the lead. He's got a really good record from box 8, 5 starts, 2 wins and 2 placings. And this dog is really a good lead pinger, Shorty, when he gets it right. So we need him to do that again tonight. I think I've seen $6 or $7 floating around somewhere, so he could be a good each-way play to finish us off, Shorty. Race 10, number 8, Wise Cousin Glenn.
Yeah, $7.50 and $2.20 on the fixed odds with Tab Touch at the moment there, Wise Cousin Glenn. Go Get Him Herbie's a really interesting runner in this race. Very talented dog with great early pace, but having his first look on race day at Northam there today. So that's going to be the key to the race. And sometimes it can take dogs a run or two to get going at a new circuit, hence the train looking for a bit of each-way value with Wise Cousin Glenn, who was a 17.38 winner only 3 starts ago from a wide draw. That is it for tonight. You got anything from the kennel worth mentioning on the program today?
Yeah, we've got a few dogs in tonight, Shorty. Obviously, Iconic Jet was a bit disappointing last week. You take your trainer's hat off and put your punter's hat on. He was very disappointing. So this week we've gone back and give him a few jump outs and work on the bull ring, so hoping to turn him around. But I think he'll be very short. I think if I was a punter, I'd just be watching him tonight just to try and see if he can get back into form. There's no doubting his ability, but we need to see him do that again tonight. So be very short. I actually am pretty keen on Jamie keeping each way. She's in race 11. She's got box 1. She's a dog that really loves the Northern Circuit and box 1 as well. So I think I've seen about $8.50, but not sure if that was the race book or the tote. I haven't seen any prices yet, Shorty. But
yeah, $8 and $2.30 at the moment, Train. So it certainly fits nicely as an each-way play.
Yeah, definitely worth having a couple of dollars each way. I think she'll hit the frame somewhere there for sure tonight. So she won't have too many more starts, Shorty. The owners are going to take her home to breed with. So obviously she can win tonight. She might even go out a winner. So yeah, she's been a really good dog for the kennel and paid her way more than what we thought when we first got her. So, yeah, just have something each way on her tonight, I think, is probably my best each way play. All
right, 8 and 2.30. You've done an excellent job with her. She has put together a great record now, 73 starts, 15 wins, 25 placings, 91,000 in prize money. And look, there's no getting away from it. She's had her limitations, but one thing about Jamie keeping, she's got good attributes, and that she generally shows good early pace, and she's strong and has run a distance on the way through. So they're really nice traits to have, and you've got the very best out of her. I think, with her strength and also the fact that she's been a stayer that can sit up on top of the tempo, she'll be a pretty valuable brood bitch as well, I'd expect, heading forward. So I look forward to seeing her pups in the years to come. But for now, let's hope she can get the job done on the track for us one more time this afternoon there, $8 and $2.30. One thing you know, if she lands up on top of the speed or somewhere near them on the fence punching through, she's going to be hard to run down. She's had 11 starts, track and trip, 5 wins and 3 seconds. So those numbers tell us that she's likely to be very, very competitive. And also worth noting, 4 starts ago, she won a mixed grade 3 and 4 here in 29.85. Has since had the 3 runs in tougher company, drops back now to a pure grade 5. So certainly from that perspective, she is well placed grade wise, and she loves the track and trip.
Yeah, well, she's been much like her mum, Shorty. I don't know if you remember her mum, Danica Keeping. She's been a bit of an overachiever in her career. Come to us, with no set modest tasks or break it in really well. And, she's just put her hand up and really, really the prize money she's earned, for her ability is, like I said, she's just overachieved in her career. But, one thing for sure is she'll love Box 1 and she'll love Northern. So hopefully she can run a good race and, she will go and have some litter of pups. I think they're talking about Palawa King, Shorty. So putting a bit of strength into a bit of strength. So that'll be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see. You don't see too many people use stayers as stud options these days, but one thing's for sure, you'd think that there'd be some strength coming out of those. However, I have bred for strength in the past and ended up with 300-metre dogs train, it must be said. So you just never know what can happen on the way through. Also worth just quickly touching on Saturday night. These 3 heats, we were speaking yesterday afternoon about these Peter Thomas heats. There's a couple of things, I guess, that spring to mind when you look at them. Firstly, just the quality of dogs that we're breeding in WA now. To have 3 heats of this calibre, it gives you a great indication of the just how good WA bred dogs are in 2024, but also the depth. There's just all 3 heats, I sort of have 6 dogs marked that are capable of running really quick times with the right run. It's going to be a hell of a night there Saturday night with these 3 heats on.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a task, Shorty, trying to pick them out and pick the pieces out of them. It's, like you said, very open. And Dave Hobby's going to feature in a lot of these heats, Shorty. I think he's got 11 or 12 runners over 3 heats. So, obviously, he's looking to take out this feature final as well.
He will be right there in the mix with greyhounds, the likes of Sunset Serengeti, Sunset Comanche, Sunset Mirage, Shy Emoji draws the red, Sunset Peppy, Crumble Manelli's back in sparkling form. That's going to be one of my real exciting parts of the night, to see Crumble back up to 488. Last 2 wins would suggest the dog's right back in the zone, and if it does get across, it's capable of really running them along. The last little bit will just be the query there. But yeah, it's going to be a great night of chasing. I look forward to analysing that in depth with you tomorrow. Train on the Tab Touch Greyhound Jet Set. That podcast will be dropping from about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But looking forward to teaming up with you there, along with our next guest, Jace Campbell. Also, Corey will be joining us from the Meadows, Corey Smith. And we'll have, of course, Bonesy Harmon joining us for a look at all the Darwin activity on Sunday afternoon as well as our kennel mail. Lukey Townsend was on fire last week, going bang bang with his 2 kennel picks. Also, Damien and also Graham Credelli will share their thoughts from the kennel mail. That's all there on the Jet Set podcast tomorrow afternoon. Train, great catching up with you this morning. Good luck this afternoon / evening up there at Northam, and look forward to seeing you in here tomorrow morning.
Yep, thanks very much, Shorty. Good luck, punters, and we'll get stuck in tomorrow morning, Shorty.
Good man. There we have it. The Shane Train Williams with us here on Great Greys, where it's now 14 minutes. Oh, bang, make that 15 minutes, 10:15, bang on here on TAB Radio. First race for broadcast through Great Greys today will be race number 1 of the day at Newcastle. It's still some 15 minutes away. Extreme Diva, our odds-on favourite there for Zach Lloyd in the first, 165 into that $1.50 quote. Run Randy Run is on the second line, 460 to 260. Backward Glance 12 and firm. Perla 21 into 20. Spandex 41 into 34. The big ticket is at 41 and firm. And Outcast Maggie's been Spectre's the outsider, 81 into 41. 14 minutes away at race number 1 there at Newcastle. Let's catch up, though, with Jason Campbell now. Have a look at chasing in Queensland as well as Tasmania. Welcome to you, JC. How do we find you this morning?
Cannot complain, Shorty. Bit wet here in Sydney, but we'll keep pushing through. Hopefully see a bit of sun over the next couple of months.
Indeed, yeah, we're the same over here. A very wet morning out there and more to come over the weekend. So that's okay. Fill up the water tanks over here. I'm sure we've got some lovely weather coming through the summer months. Good night of chasing to look forward to up at Albion Park, also down there in Tassie. Talk us through your key plays tonight there at the Creek.
Yeah, probably one of the better meetings at Albion Park we've seen since the Brisbane Winter Carnival. I've got 3 heats of the Molly Campbell Silver Dollars. No relation there, Shorty, if you were wondering, which you probably weren't. But
I'd be claiming it, JC. Why don't we may as well claim it, mate? I'm sure there's a link somewhere down the line.
100%. I need to do an Ancestry.com test. But some of the sharpest dogs underneath the age of 30 months in Queensland will go to battle there. But I'm going to kick off in race 1. I really like one of odds here, number 4, Villain of Magic. All of his starts have been beneath this distance. I think he's really crying out for it. I just don't think there's a lot of speed drawn underneath him. All those dogs can only really produce a 570 to the first mark. Obviously, he's been a little bit tardy out, but that has been at the Ipswich 431 on the bend start. So I think on a straight start at 520 on probably the fairest track in Australia, he'll be really hard to hold out here, and I think he'll run a good race at odds.
I like it. I love the breeding of this dog too. Zambora Brocky out of Tawitchery. She was a really talented bitch in her own right, Tawitchery. So looking forward to seeing some of her pups on the track. And Villain of Magic looks to have inherited some of Mum's ability as well. 4 starts for 1 win and 3 seconds. And hopefully that's 2 wins after tonight there in the first. Good price too, $6.50 and $2.10 for Jay Campbell's first pick of the night there at Albion Park. On to the next.
Made this one the best bet, Shorty. Race 8, number 3, Hoshino. He is a really, really talented youngster. Once again, another really well-bred youngster. You'll probably see that across the card here at Albion Park, some of the best youngsters in Queensland. He was really, really well thought of. He went into that Brisbane Winter Carnival and he raced against the likes of Uncle Tommy and Lakeview Emily, both Group 1 winners or place getters. So I think they've obviously got a huge opinion of him. He gets back here to an age-restricted race, which is very important, and I just would like to pot the 1. I know it has a picket fence next to its name, but in its 2 starts at Albion Park, admittedly over shorter distances, it hasn't quite featured in the finish. So I think Hoshino here gets a massive drop in grade. He's really well drawn and should be really hard to hold out late.
Yeah, you start looking through the form lines with Hoshino and you go back 3 runs ago and it was 5th behind Uncle Tommy. Of course, Uncle Tommy has taken all before him as the wild card for the upcoming national sprint. So it's a pretty nice form line dropping back to the Molly Campbell this particular program. So looking forward to seeing it. Race 8, number 3, Hoshino. It's been labelled the best bet of the night for our man Jason Campbell. And the third of your plays tonight at Albion Park?
Race 10, number 4, Nangar Sniper. This dog last week had box 3, begun really well, but really desperate railer. That Snuts had box 1, and he's a really good dog, and he goes around even money in one of those Molly Campbell silver collar heats, and he just was unable to cross him early. I think there's just a little less pressure in this race, and he's going to be really well suited to having an inside box fake, and I expect him to lead this race and prove really hard to run down. Alrighty,
so that early burn, the key here for race 10, number 4, Nangar Sniper, to ping the lids, get across and give them something to run down, has certainly taken a shine to this particular track and trip. 3 starts over the 520 for 2 wins at this point in time, and a good overall hit rate as well, winning 4 of its 7 career starts with a couple of placings. So we go race 1, number 4, Villain of Magic, nice odds. Race 8, number 3, the BB Hoshino, and race 10, number 4, Nangar Sniper, around that $2.90 mark. That's tonight at Albion Park, taken care of. Let's switch our focus down to the Apple Isle. They've got a busy night of chasing down there. 10 races up for grabs there at Hobart tonight. Who do you like on this card?
Going to race 2, playing the 3 here, firmly fixed. This is a runner that's really a bit like the Jekyll and Hyde, I guess. He's hot and cold at each particular track. He's had 8 starts at Launceston for only the 1 placing, but if you look at his Hobart statistics, he's had 3 starts for a win and 2 placings. So I think he's really well suited to Hobart. No pot on the favourite, Buster Scruggs at $1.28. he's going to be extremely hard to beat. I don't think Firmly Fixed can beat him, but I think he's a really cracking place bet, and that's how I'll be playing that race.
Yeah, fair enough too. He's got, as you said, track and trip, 3 starts, a win, 2 placing, so 3 for 3 track and trip, and $2.10 may well be worth throwing into your multis tonight there. Hobart, race 2, number 3, Firmly Fixed. And the second of your plays in Hobart?
Yeah, Mark this one the best bet. Race 4, number 8, If I'm Lucky. A little bit of a drift early in the morning, which we don't mind, Shorty, so I can get a bit of a better price. Hopefully at jump, I'm sure he's going to firm right back in. He just brings much better form lines to this race than a lot of his rivals. He's got form around Shimmer Stripe, who goes around favourite, one of the other races on the night, and Whiskey Barrel. Happy to forgive his last start run. He's really well drawn in box 8, and as I mentioned, he does really have lengths on this field. So as long as he can return to his best form, he should be able to win this race.
Yeah, a few really positives as well. The dog handles wide, no problem. So you go back 3 starts ago, the dog that Jace just touched on, Shimmer Stripe, this dog defeated from box number 7 in 1966, and then runner-up again from a wide draw behind Whiskey Barrel, beating a narrow margin. So no problem at all with the wide draw here. And this dog's also, you go back 5 runs ago, was a winner over the 515 at Launceston. So no problems running out that 340, very strong, and wide draw suits, and looks a super chance. So race 4, number 8, If I'm Lucky, $2.60 on the fixed odds with Tab Touch, also looking a very nice play there tonight at Hobart. So we've got Albion Park 1, 4, 8, 3, 10, 4, and Hobart race 2, number 3, Firmly Fixed, the place. Race 4, number 8, If I'm Lucky. Jace, tremendous catching up with you this morning. Appreciate your time as always here on Great Greys, and looking forward to our chat tomorrow for the Tab Touch Greyhound Jet Set. We'll be having a good look at that program on Saturday night there at Wentworth Park, and also looking to help out the punters with a busy weekend of chasing as we count down towards the Nationals next week.
Not a problem, Shorty. Can't wait for it. I'll talk to you then.
Good man. Jace Campbell with us this morning here on Great Grey, sharing his thoughts for Albion Park and also Hobart. Time now to catch up with our Hall of Famer here on Great Greys, Neil Brown. They had a wonderful night there last Thursday at Sandown for State Sprint and Distance Championship final night. Loved all of the racing that was going on there last week, and they've been left with a really good card once again tonight there at Sandown. We should be used to it, to be fair. It's always a stellar program on a Thursday night. Neil now joins us to dissect it. Welcome to you, Brownie.
Yes, good morning, David. We're in a bit of form, and I'm a bit frightened, David, to keep this going. A couple of weeks in a row with quaddies coming at us, being able to jag them. So it's been a good result for us.
It has, and no need to be scared. Form's all about just rolling it. It's just a rinse and repeat. That's all we're asking for, Brownie. There's no need to be fearful of continuing to line the pockets of our listeners. That's what it's all about on this program. And, of course, aside of just that, the quality of racing there last week was absolutely superb. We saw Aunt Virginia, an excellent winner of the distance final, defeating Drill Sergeant, Pass Mark and Black Silencer. And that sprint final was an absolute beauty. So competitive. It was the ultra-consistent, smooth plane for Tom Daly, who was able to defeat Orly Bale and Flying Zulu. Vincent Bale wasn't far away, back in 4th spot. It was a very, very competitive and tightly raced sprint final there, Neil. Any of the three could have run 1, 2, 3 in almost any order, turning for home.
Yes, it was a cracking race, and I'm sure both our Victorian representatives will fly the flag pretty well when we get to Adelaide Saturday week. So looking forward to those finals over there and getting over to Adelaide. So catching up with a few old campaigners from around the state. So looking forward to being in Adelaide. But yeah, I think the Victorians will be very competitive, both greyhounds. The
other really interesting point to come out of the meeting, Neil, was you guys had the Greyhound of the Year function on the same night there last Thursday, and it was so fitting to see Hector Fawley come out and win on the night and also be crowned the Victorian Greyhound of the Year on the same evening. The timing was perfect.
It certainly was. It was like as though he knew he got the nod. He'd been unlucky, hadn't he, David? He was due to run a forward race, and right up on the pace at the first turn, he was able to dictate terms like he does, and a fitting winner. Terrific year he had, and I thought he was a good choice. The only probably choice because he's so versatile, and he won over a few different distances, didn't he? Which is not easy to do, but he's a very popular greyhound around the states and certainly in Victoria. So a good winner.
Indeed, and here in WA as well after taking out the Sandgroper as well. So he's got plenty of fans all around this nation, as have you, Neil. Let's see if we can't find the early quaddie for the punters tonight. The first leg comes up at 12 minutes past 4 WA time. Take us through your thoughts.
Yeah, it's pretty short to some of these in this early quad. It might be too much value if these greyhounds get home. 5-1-8 in the first race, a mixed over the 5-15. I do think Mapunga Rocky's a greyhound to beat, but no fancy odds at about the 230 mark. 8-7-4 in the second race, a 5-15 grade 5. Here, House of Turbo, racing in really, really good form. And it's a very solid race, this, but I think he might be the one to beat from out there wide on the track. I'm only going to take probably 1 and 2 here. The 2 greyhounds drawn on the inside in the third, the grade 5, 5-15. Motion sensors around the $2 mark, but I think Fernando Gomez will keep him honest. So I'm going to take those 2. If you want to stretch it, you can maybe make a case for the 4, but I've just taking the 2 on the inside draw. And in the last leg of the early quad, I'm going to take 4, 7, and 2. Pretty short Kenya All Class, but he looks the greyhound to beat. The smallish field will suit the 6-dog field, so we'll take him on top of it. As I say, pretty skinny odds about those in the early quad, 4, 7 and 2 to finish us off. Going to the main quad tonight, we've got a 7-15 metre big stake here, and he looks hard to beat for mine. I'm only in the best bet of the night. Drill Sergeant didn't do much wrong. He's been racing in excellent form. He'll be suited by this smallish field tonight. I'm going to take 7 and 1 for insurance, but I do like Drill Sergeant to beat the Bidman Pass mark. I think he's just racing well enough to win this. And Pass mark and Shake and Bake will keep him honest, there's no doubt about it. So we'll take 4, 7 and 1. In race number 6, we've got very open race. I'm not overly keen about it. A 5-15 metre grade 5 here. I've been forced to find 4 of them, 6, 1, 2 and 8. I've got the 6 on top, Paul Whistler, at reasonable odds tonight, but certainly chances to the 2 greyhounds drawn on the inside, Nashville Bale and Rag and Ablett. I think they're a chance, and I'm going to throw the 8 in My Cool Jack. So very competitive race for the second leg of the quaddie with a few chances, but maybe that empty box, is going to help Paul Whistler tonight from box number 6 in the second leg. Race number 7. Here I'm going to take 2, 4 and 1. Good race here. Mixed 3 and 4th grade over the 5-15. And we've seen explicit. He hasn't raced since the 4th of July when he was playing in Brisbane quite successfully. He is the class runner. No fancy price here though, Dave. He's very, very short indeed, around $1.20 mark. He's fresh. I think he's the class greyhound and the dog to beat. Mapunga Shine, definitely a chance. Smart's won 4 races here. And Shimmer Current, always a pretty honest type. Nicely drawn in box number 1. Coming home in the last leg of the quaddie tonight, I think it's a wide open race indeed here over the 5.95. Mixed stake, I'm going to take 4, 8, 2 and 1. I do like Vincent Bale. There's 3 or 4 of them having their first start at this distance tonight. He hasn't done much wrong of late. I think he'll step up to the distance without a problem at all. And the class runner here, and that might be the class factor prevail. So number 4, Vincent Bale, to beat the greyhound drawn wide West Star, and the 2 on the inside, Boss Ali and Dishevelled, I think have got chances. In a fairly open race, let's see what they do first time over the 5.9. I am tipping Drill Sergeant on top as the best bet. He's no fancy price at around the 250 mark at the moment, a bit shorter maybe. There is one at very big odds, just a throw at the stumps here in race number 10. I think he's about the $12 mark for a kind of Crusader. Each way all day, I think, from box number 2. A very open race, plenty of chances in it. And let's see if we can get one home at big odds, Dave. So good luck and good punting at Sandown tonight.
Beautifully done, Neil. Thank you, as always, for your time. Enjoy the night of chasing ahead there at Sandown. We'll catch you next week.
Good on you, David. Thanks, mate.
This is your home of the greyhound good oil, Great Greys.
And it's time to head across to South Australia, catch up with Sean Matheson, where I'm sure the team are very, very busy preparing for the Nationals week next week. Welcome to you, Sean. How's it all going over there?
Again today, yeah, extremely busy for the whole team at Greyhound Racing SA, the marketing department, racing, stewards, everyone across the board doing a great job. And hopefully, as next week begins, Nationals Week, that, the excitement is just beginning and all culminates with our wonderful finals on the Saturday morning of next week and also at Angle Park on the Saturday night. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. A lot of planning's gone into it. And hopefully it all comes to fruition and everyone has a great time.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, tell us a little bit about have any dogs been in contact to get across there and trial at the track, or have there been already any dogs arrive and trial at the track in the build-up to either of the two key races?
Yeah, absolutely. So, David, we've actually just released something which should appear on our website, really shortly, just in relation to an update on the qualifiers and also an update on trialling arrangements. And just for your listeners, the two New Zealand greyhounds, unfortunately, will not be able to make it, and that's purely due to flight arrangements to get to Australia. Both connections absolutely wanted to come and compete at the Nationals in Adelaide, but both the stayer, which was No Defence, wasn't able to get here, and Carter Pye Bale was effectively on a plane on Tuesday coming, but that got withdrawn the next day. So they were devastated not to be able to make it to South Australia. So they've both been withdrawn, and under the conditions, the next eligible SA dog has gone in to the field. So Where's Poppy will go into the sprint and Zimpy Neutron will go into the distance. And just an update with the straight track, unfortunately, stadiums, the connections of that dog have chosen not to come to Adelaide, and under the conditions, the next dog has gone into that. There has been a penalty imposed with the connections, which they're totally aware of, but to keep the integrity of the series, effectively, everyone sort of has to come unless there's a compelling reason, and the connection to the stadiums didn't have that. So that's a quick update. Trialling, David. We had Raiders Guide trial last night at Angle Park over the 595 and went, I've got it here in front of me, went 33.86 over 595. And David, we would know at Angle Park there's only a few greyhounds since the redevelopment have ever gone faster than 34 seconds over 595. So he is well and truly wound up for the staying event. We had Ritzer Piper trial just out of the 700 metre boxes, just box to box, 4:34 first split, 16:11, which is okay first look. But a lot of the trialling does really crank up tonight. We've got Val Policella trialling tonight from Queensland, the star from Queensland, along with Cluster from Queensland, who won the sprint final. And we've also got Miss Envy, the WA sprinter, trialling tonight as well. So that's going to be exciting to see what they can do, and all that. Their trials will be available, the vision will be available online, everyone can have a look, all of that sort of stuff. So we're trying to get as much information out there as possible.
I love it. So if punters head to greyhoundracingsa.com.au, is that the best spot to follow all the action there, Sean?
Absolutely, yeah. And also through our Facebook page with social media, David, we'll be updating a lot of stuff through that and through our website. So all of our socials, our Twitter account. So, we're all going to get it all out there. As mentioned, really started last night, but there is an update with the qualifiers, as I spoke about, which is really crucial with the fields. At the final fields, David, the three finals will be drawn tomorrow, about 2 o'clock South Australian time. It'll be drawn at Adelaide Oval, and so it'll be terrific to draw them there. that'll be broadcast through our Facebook page as well. Live.
Tremendous. Hey, what a great thrill, too, for everyone involved. Of course, one of the premier stadiums in the world, really. The redevelopment of the Adelaide Oval, it was always such a stunning ground, but the redevelopments have been nothing short of spectacular, and tremendous to see greyhound racing get the opportunity to go and have that box draw function there.
Yeah, absolutely. Clearly, some of the interstate people won't be able to make it, but some of the locals who are involved, they'll be able to get down there and have a look. It'll be really interesting. But all three finals are setting up to be amazing events, which they are every year, David. I mean, it's a full credit to the participants who qualify their greyhounds at state level and then take on the journey to come to another state or in their home state and take on the best available and a national champion crowned, which I think is a wonderful thing, and it's a full credit to the participants.
Yeah, spot on. So good luck to everyone there. We'll find out the latest next week when we speak to Sean and count down to the National Sprint and Distance Championship finals, and of course the straight championship as well. Of course, no interest here in WA from a local perspective in that race, but nonetheless there'll still be plenty of people tuning in to Murray Bridge for that straight race. It's always a beauty there, the National Straight Final, but all eyes on Angle Park Saturday week. Can't wait. And Miss Envy, be really interested to see what sort of time she can carve out there tonight, Sean. She was electric in taking out the WA Sprint Final in very quick time there at Northam. She's got a big engine, and I would expect her to run some pretty reasonable time. As long as she handles a circuit there, I think you'll see a pretty decent time up on that clock when she finishes up there tonight. Yeah,
well, David, as is normally the case, to give them every opportunity, most trainers are taking the option to trial, and as you mentioned, it'll be a really good indication to see what she can do tonight. Cluster will also be trialling, so they'll be matched up in the sprint event next Saturday night, so you get a bit of a good indication how they're going first up. There's always a little bit of improvement, as we know, as they progress and they settle in, but it'll be really good to see the sort of time she can run. And also for WA interest, I know the Connections are also sending across Transcendent tonight, and they're looking at the SA Derby coming up in September, so they're taking the opportunity to trial him tonight as well. So we'll obviously have that available for people to have a look at, but Miss Envy Transcendent from WA, it's going to be exciting tonight. Big time, yeah. And he's won 9 of his 11 career starts, the full brother to Miss Envy. They're very, very smart young chasers, and there's a bit of talk around that there might well be some other dogs from WA heading across for the SA Oaks and Derby, so it could be one of the most anticipated series for some time, and lots of interest from across here in WA. Looking forward to that. Let's rip into your plays for the next little bit. Sean, who are we playing tonight there at Angle Park? Yeah, David, I do appreciate your time in talking about the Nationals, and I'll probably talk for a fair bit, but let's try and get some winners for the listeners. And so tonight at Angle Park, a pretty good program tonight. My best bets comes up in race 4, and it's number 3, Daintree Granite for Lauren Harris. A lot of these Daintree dogs have come into their kennel from across in Victoria, and they've really been having a purple patch of form, and this dog's no different. Has won his last 2 races over 5:30 and was really impressed 2 runs ago when he went 30.63. Last week, again, found a bit of trouble early, squeezed through and just got the job done at the end, running 31.23. Does step up to the 5.95, which just every indication this dog is going to love the middle distance. So, again, it's just a bit of clear running to the first turn. I think it'll just sit up on speed and hopefully be too strong in the end. I like it. Race 4, number 3, Daintree Granite. On to the next of your plays. The next will actually come up in the next race, and it's race 5, number 2, Southern Sun for Cameron Butcher. A lot of time for this dog. Probably its form on paper doesn't read that great. It was a good good second 3 runs ago, 34.55 behind Ethanol Unleaded, which was a really good run. And I think the key for this dog is he does like to be nice and close to the rail. He drew 1 on that occasion, then came from wide draws his next 2. So I think back to a position close to the rail, can either lead or just sitting behind the lead, I think, but he's where he wants to be, and I think he can do his absolute best. Again, he's a dog that the middle distance should not worry him at all.
Okay, race 5, number 2, Southern Sun, and the third of your plays?
Third of the plays actually comes up in race 11, and it's number 2, Muster. Now, last week, David, I threw out Just Alfie to fill a placing behind Zinfandel Trace, and it did, about 20-1 it did, but it's drawn 8 tonight, and I was actually taken by the performance of Muster last week. Whilst Muster ran 6th in our final, really had no luck to the first turn, got spat out the back, and really made really decent ground through the middle stages and late. This is a dog that loves to run up on speed and performs at his absolute best. He's drawn 2. He's at 390. I think he leads this race, and I think he'll just be too hard to catch. So I'll get him the third of my best bets.
Very nice. Race 4, number 3, Daintree Granite. Race 5, number 2, Southern Sun. Race 11, number 2, Muster. We've also got Chasing Murray Bridge Friday, Angle Park Saturday, and Gawler on Sunday. Anything for the punters there?
Okay, so one at each venue to follow. Murray Bridge tomorrow. Race 6, number 8, Victory Club for Rob Harness. I think he can show enough speed here from a wide draw to actually lead. The favourite will be the 2, Blue Intensity. Blue Intensity is a dog that absolutely wants to get off, so box 2 is not a good draw for that greyhound. So I think Victory Club can be off and gone and get the money for the listeners tomorrow. Saturday morning, which is our time-graded meeting. But there's some actually nice dogs that are actually at this meeting. And I like race 10, number 1, Zinfandel Austin for Gavin Harris. Went around in our straight track final last week. So it's a bit of a drop down in class. Drawn box 1, loves an inside draw, and there's no trainer going any better in SA than Gavin with his dog. So I think he will get the job done Saturday morning. And off to Gawler on Sunday night. I like race 9, number 5, Victor Val for Ron Shadow. Showed good speed last week to knock off the kennel mate, Victor Chrissy, who I think a lot of people have a lot of time for. She's a really nice greyhound, and Victor Val led, got the job done. I see absolutely no reason why he won't lead this race again and be too hard to beat.
Tremendous. Murray Bridge Friday, 6-8 Victory Club. Angle Park Saturday, 10-1 Zinfandel Austin, and Gawler on Sunday, race 9, number 5 Victor Val. Sean, really appreciate your time as always here on Great Grace. Thanks for the update on the Nationals. Punters that would like to find out more, head to greyhoundracingsa.com.au. All of the trial information and the latest in regards to the National Sprint and Distance Championship, as well as the Straight Championship, all there at that particular website, or indeed across the socials. Thank you, Sean. We'll chat next week in the countdown to the Nationals.
Excellent, David. Really appreciate your time today.
Good man. There we have it. Sean Matheson with all of the latest in the countdown to the National Sprint, Distance and Straight Championships across there in SA next weekend. One man that's fresh off a break, always does his best work off a little bit of time, chomping on the grass in the paddock, is Simon Orchard. He now joins us here on Great Grace. Hello, Simon.
Yeah, g'day, Shorty. G'day, listeners. Not much grass, mate. Plenty of fast food diet over the Olympic campaign, and probably come back a couple of kilos heavier. But, hey, I'll be better for the run today, that's for sure.
Indeed. How was it? Tell us a little bit about the holiday. How was it?
Oh, mate, I wish it was a holiday. I was, well, it was in a way. I was calling the Olympics, would you believe, for another radio station. And it was the experience of a lifetime, standing next to the likes of Bruce McAvaney and a bunch of Perth, famous Perth broadcasters, mate. So I had the time of my life, 2 weeks calling hockey, just fully engrossed in the Olympic spirit. And, mate, it's something I'll remember forever, and I just can't wait for the next time it rolls around. Simon,
that's unbelievable. What a great opportunity. And how tell us a little bit about the entire Olympic experience. You've been there as an athlete, this time going as a broadcaster. What were the noticeable differences? Obviously, the opportunity to have a feed and a drink and not have to worry about the pressure of being out on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think it's funny, right? You get into a studio. We're in a studio in Sydney, so we didn't go to Paris, but we're in studios surrounded by immense broadcasting talent. I mentioned the likes of Bruce McAvaney. The bloke's an encyclopedia. Not as many notes as me, that's for sure, but he could rattle off everyone in the 20K walk to every competitor in the 1,500 metre. He's a dream to sort of learn off and just watch, right? Watch in his craft. The thing I notice most about someone like Bruce, so excitable. For a bloke of his age with so much experience. Just he was living and breathing the moment. You can see his passion for it, and it's not just him. A bunch of other blokes who I've learned from over the years, Corbin Middlemas and Quentin Hull, and a lot of guys from Perth. Benny Cameron was doing the hockey with me. A lot of names I'm sure your listeners might have heard on the radio waves over there. But yeah, it was really good, mate. Apart from the time frame we were working, 4 a.m. calls were certainly putting me upside down. I'd wake up mid-arvo and just go down and have a coffee, a cake, and then roll back into the preparation. But yeah, mate, a really good lifestyle. Calling sport for a living, I don't think of anything better, to be honest. So it was a dream come true.
Magnificent. Now, didn't quite go to plan when it came to the hockey for the Hockey Roos, and even the girls didn't really sort of fire as many would have expected. But the overall results and performances of this Australian team for this Olympics were just spectacular, and it's a really special time. I think anybody out there that doesn't sort of grow immense pride and have so much respect for these athletes and what they go through, and then the performance that they deliver on the big stage. It's just been another huge, huge Olympic campaign, and so many Aussie athletes giving us so much to be proud of.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. Look, I think it came at a really good time. It's been a funny period, right, the last 5 years. The last Olympics obviously ruined by COVID for a lot of reasons, and the athletes didn't get to experience the Olympics as it is. So I'm glad that a lot of them who went to Tokyo got to go back again and experience what a real Olympics is like. There's nothing like it, Shorty. It just obviously engulfs the athletes, but for people at home, we're unified by the pursuits of people who are trying their best to achieve absolute excellence. And then all of a sudden, for a country like Australia, right, where we've got so much sport, there's so many opportunities for young boys and girls, and to come out and win medals across so many different varieties of things that I'd never even contemplated. We know the likes of Jess Fox, but her sister going in the kayak cross, that was a hell of an event. Polarising things like the breaking have got people talking. We're skateboarding gold medalists. There's a great BMX story in Saya Sakakibara. If you follow that along, it's worth trying to revisit. The hockey teams didn't get the medals that, maybe the girls I thought were pretty unlucky. They lost a controversial shootout, a controversial quarterfinal to China, who went on to play in the gold medal game and lose in a shootout. So that's the fine margins in our team sports. The boys probably didn't fire as many shots as they would have liked, but mate, you step back and look now. I'm not going to say I'm in a bit of a hole, but I can only imagine what the athletes are thinking. 4 years, or in some of their careers, a lifetime of work, and now they've got to try and work out what's next. So I guess that's the next avenue that not a lot of people talk about. So many highs, and now a lot of those athletes coming down off the mountain trying to figure out what's going on next. So spare a thought for them, because it's a difficult transition as well, and something that probably isn't touched on too often.
It's a really good point you raise. It's and for many of them, like we sort of laud all of the athletes that have won the gold medals, which is outstanding. But for many of the others that have in their mind had themselves set to win gold medals or a medal, or indeed make a final, and they haven't quite got there. 4 years of hard work, and it's a long old grind to get another opportunity 4 years from now.
Oh, mate. Well, look, there's a few comparisons between our great sport, right? Like, you can have the best dog of the moment. Something goes wrong at the wrong time, a variable that you can't really take into account. It might be a box draw, it might be another dog jumping out of the ground, it might be a track condition, it might just be a bump at the wrong time. And, trainers, owners, participants, their dreams go up in smoke. We're about to go into the $1 million chase, starts in about 10 days' time. And for many, the dream of winning $1 million is still a possibility. But as time goes on, things happen and things change, and unfortunately, it doesn't always work out how you like. So, look, the hockey teams will pick themselves up and dust themselves off. We've got some issues in the sport, I reckon. We haven't really achieved what we needed to in the last probably 2 decades, to be fair. The golden period of women's hockey was 96 and 2000. The men have won one in the history of Olympic game competition. And for a nation that sort of prides itself on being pretty good at hockey, it's not really good enough. But the rest of the team, fantastic job. I reckon it's an A+, and looking forward to LA, which will be a belter, and then, of course, Brizzy in 8 years, mate. Hopefully it comes around pretty quick.
Yeah, very exciting times ahead, no doubt about that. All right, well, let's straighten up now and talk a little bit of greyhound racing. There's plenty going on in your backyard over the next few days. Take us through your key plays.
Yeah, casino today, if you want to have a bet later on. 9-8 Brunswick Rocket, probably one for your multis. The price has just dropped off a bit today, mate. But look, knows and likes the casino track. It can be a tricky circuit, not the quickest away, but I think box 8 is a blessing. Got good pickup speed off the mat, so hopefully just gets out on par and then can really motor around the outside. There's not a lot of depth in the race either. The main rivals in the ninth on the card at Casino are the dogs in boxes 1 and 2. They've won 4 times from 79 starts, so I can't have any confidence with them. I think Brunswick Rocket is a dog on the up. First go over 480, hit the line well last start. Good multi-option, as I mentioned, 9-8 at Casino. Dapto tonight, 7-7, Beth Dutton. Flew around the track last start, 1685 is really good going over the 300. She runs into a couple of old stages in Ninja Mac and Ebony Panda, who are prodigious winners at the track for Ronnie Alcock, but they are at the twilight of their career, and this girl's still firmly got the upward arrow. She ran a really good first section last week, Shorty. So I think from box 7, she runs a pretty straight line. She can loop around them at the first turn and just blow them away. 7-7, Beth Dutton at Dapto. Wenty Park in its, its new Thursday slot, I guess, still 2-2 Lorraine Jackie and 4-8 King Tide for 2 of the big kennels. So Lorraine Jackie, Group 1 place getter for Jack Smith, 29.65 dog. How's this for rotten luck? 11 starts, all of them have been boxes 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. Never got 1 or 2 until tonight. Lorraine Jackie jumps from box 2. I think she'll make a mess of them. And 4-8 King Tide, getting a bit better of a price. Was about $450 last time I checked. Andy Lord told me the dog wants 600. So the dog's best efforts are probably still to come. But there's been a few scratching, Shorty. Drawn off the track, I don't mind. I think his lack of muster isn't a bad thing out there. If he can hang with them up the back, he'll be motoring home. 4-8 King Tide. And he's out of Book of Luck, who's produced some good dogs. Punters Bandit, Doonan, and your old man, Tiger Jack. So hopefully King Tide can keep the good run going for Book of Luck at Wenty Park tonight. And if you want one on Saturday, mate, haven't seen the prices, but 8-8 from the east. Another dog out of the Lord Kennel, trained by Andy's daughter, Hayley, doing really good things. So 8-8 on Saturday night, the best bet at Wenty.
Absolutely. We'll jot that down. Wentworth Park, Saturday night, 8-8 from the east. To go along with 2-2 Lorraine Jackie and 4-8 King Tide. Yeah, she's been a wonderful producer, Book of Luck on the way through, and looks like another nice one on their hands there. Good luck to Craig with King Tide. Just quickly, Simon, you mentioned the $1 Million Chase just around the corner. This is always an incredibly exciting time for not just New South Wales greyhound racing, but Australian greyhound racing, because we get to see dogs from all over this fine nation converge on New South Wales, and not just to Wenty Park. That might be where the big bucks are on final night, but the way that this series is put together, taking the show to the people all over regional New South Wales to qualify for the $1 Million Chase. I love that aspect to this series year in, year out, and I'm looking forward to that over the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, it really is a roadshow around the state, mate. Starts at Maitland, as I mentioned. How's this for a couple of opening series? So Maitland, we've already got McKenna and Rinse the Lot locked in to race through the heats there. And then Tamora, which is the second of the series getting underway, Jason Thompson apparently is sending Explicit and Tim Zoo up for the Tamora heat. So a lot of people out there, if they're listening, are probably thinking, all right, maybe I'll steer around Maitland and Tamora because they're 4 of the best dogs in Australia at the moment. But, you mentioned that Goulburn, Casino, Broken Hill, Wagga, Grafton, you name it. And we've also got the Megastar and the Blacktop. The top 3 from each of those group races will go through to the semi-finals as well. All roads lead to Wenty, 18th of October, where we'll give away $1 million, the 7th dog to win it. Hopefully we'll see some WA dogs over. I spoke to Steve Withers yesterday, and he said Uncle Tommy's probably the only one in the mix, but depends how the Nationals go. So we'll wait and see, I guess, in that space.
Indeed, yeah. We've got some talented dogs at the moment across here. A lot of them are quite young, though. So I think there's a few heading over to SA for the Oaks and Derby, and it may come up a little too soon for a few of those, but time will tell, and we'll be keeping a really close eye on this. And, of course, when we speak each and every Thursday, we'll be able to drill down and keep our listeners up to speed with where they need to be following all these different dogs for the qualifiers for the $1 Million Chase in the build-up to October 18, and that is Everest weekend across there in Sydney. So I can only imagine that there will be celebrations going on right, left and centre, and an incredible amount of excitement in the town. Everest weekend along with $1 Million Chase weekend. If you're a racing fan, what a time to be over there in Sydney.
Yeah, book it in now. Why not? Go out to the dogs Friday night and then just keep your powder a little bit dry if you want to head out to the Everest on Saturday. But, yeah, good ploy from our team, I guess, GRNSW, trying to align itself with the Everest, which is just becoming a behemoth of the thoroughbred world. And it's not just the $1 Million Chase. As you mentioned, Shorty, the Sydney Cup will be on. We've got the Masters Media Final, which always show some old dogs out. The Young Star final will be there as well, where you find the stars of the future, and there'll be a consolation as well. So we'll give away plenty of cash. Hopefully we get plenty of good dogs, and it is an interesting stage, mate. A lot of our best sprinters are coming up from either little niggles or little spells, looking to get ready, and then you've got a dog by the name of Barefoot Zulu, for instance, track record holder at Grafton with a handful of starts. What can a dog like it do? Maybe coming up a bit too soon, but looking forward to all the machinations from, hopefully, what's a memorable $1 Million Chase series this year.
I'm sure it will be. Good on you, Simon. Really appreciate your time this morning here on A Great Greys. Look forward to our chat again next week. Many winners over the weekend.
Cheers, mate.
There we have it, Simon Orchard with his thoughts on New South Wales chasing over the next few days. Casino race 9, number 8 today there, Brunswick Rocket. Dapto tonight, 7-7, Beth Dutton, and Wentworth Park race 2, number 2, and race 4, number 8 tonight. Wentworth Park on Saturday, race 8, number 8 from the east. The trains left us with 3-4 today there at Northern. Race 4, number 1, 90 Mile Rose. Race 6, number 4 was Kunak. And race 10, number 8 was Cousin Glenn. If you've missed all of those, we will be putting this up onto the Tab Touch blog a little later on this afternoon. I'll pop them in across all of our social media networks as well. Matty, that brings to a close Great Greys on this Thursday, the 15th of August. Thanks as always for your fine work, and to everybody tuned in, wishing you all the very best for the remainder of your Thursday. We'll be back on air tomorrow morning from just after 6:35, having a chat to Digby and Tim, hopefully getting our Friday off to a fly with a funny. Then between 9 and 10, chasing winners right here on TAB Radio, and rounding it out with the Tab Touch Greyhound Jet Set. That podcast will drop early on Friday afternoon. That's all ahead for Greyhound fans over the next few days. Thank you, Matty. Good luck, punters. Enjoy your Thursday.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.